Evil eyes hypnotize, saying.
Hey guys, Ken back again with another video, kind of a different setup. Hopefully you guys dig it. Today we're going to be looking into the career of one of my favorite actors of all time, and 3 movies in particular that always stuck out to me as a genre fan and just a fan of his in general. And of course, Prine did do other genre stuff like Grizzly, The Evil, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, but these 3 in particular stand apart from those other ones for a multitude of reasons. So I guess we start at the beginning. Andrew Prine was born on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1936 in Florida. He started acting in high school and working his way through Broadway plays and stage productions before eventually getting a co-starring role in Arthur Penn's The Miracle Worker as Helen Keller's older brother. And then that kind of sprung off from there, started doing more TV stuff, and he soon landed a lead on a series called Wide Country. Lasted 28 episodes, but it got his name out there. Soon he started to get more offers for TV. Continued to work steadily through the 60s and 70s on stuff like Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Hawaii Five-0, Combat, Bionic Woman, and a bunch of other stuff. He also appeared in a number of movies in that time, The Devil's Brigade, Bandolero, and Chisholm. But then he gets this offer for this little movie called Simon, King of the Witches. And it's a low-budget genre film, but I believe it was the first kind of big lead he was offered at that point.
I mean, I was doing A pictures, but I was always the 3rd or 4th lead, and I wanted to play the lead. My ego was involved, as it still is. And in the horror film, they said, "You're it. You're the man."
And so starts this chain of Prine working his way into leads, usually playing these very provocative and over-the-top kind of characters. It was apparently written by an actual practicing warlock, so that kind of adds a level of authenticity. Prine actually got to keep the sorcerer's robe that he wears in the movie, which is pretty awesome. There was a novelization that came out, which I wouldn't mind tracking down to read how different it is from the movie itself.
Oh, dear gods on high. Though you push me down 1,000 times, I'll climb back up. Until I'm more than a man. Till I stand among you. You're equal.
But unfortunately, misleading marketing, kind of trying to cash in on the whole Manson family murders, kind of led it down a path where it didn't end up making a whole lot of money. When you watch the trailer, it's very much cut like a horror film or some sort of sensationalist exploitation piece. But then you watch it, it's a lot more methodical, a lot more deliberately paced, character-based, much smarter than it gets credit for, and Prine is absolutely amazing in it.
Fire, air, water, earth, charge, charge. Charge, charge. Fire, air, water, earth. Charge, 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 charge. Charge, charge, charge.
He then followed that up with a lead in Crypt of the Living Dead, aka Hannah, Queen of the Vampires. It's a low-budget genre thing, but it wasn't going for that particular exploitation circuit. It was trying to be more of a classier thing. Prine's good in it. The movie really doesn't get going until, I don't know, the last 10 minutes or so, and then it gets fucking crazy. But, you know, it's kind of an interesting side note among his genre credits. So if that sounds like your thing, definitely check that one out.
Let's go through the numbers. Terror Circus, a.k.a. Nightmare Circus, a.k.a. Caged Virgins, a.k.a. Barn of the Naked Dead.
I like Caged Virgins. I'd like to go back and shoot that, as a matter of fact.
The next lead would come with Terror Circus, where he's essentially this crazy guy kidnapping women and keeping them held up in a barn and trying to make them act like animals and fight with animals and all kinds of different crazy shit. I can definitely see how this influenced Rob Zombie's 31 later on. And it was largely directed by Alan Rudolph, who was a protege of Robert Altman's, worked with him on several films before that. He'd previously done another horror film before this called Premonition, which I've never seen. Could be interesting, could be total dog shit, I have no idea. But this one's definitely an interesting, twisty ride. You got Gerald Cormier as Prine's mutilated, deformed father who's just this raving, drooling maniac. That one gets pretty crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
the greatest and most astonishing trained animal act ever to be presented under the big top. It will be our humble pleasure to dazzle and delight you with a series of feats unequaled in the history of the circus world. But first, it's my unpleasant task to remove from my very trained menagerie the untrainable, the unmanageable, the dangerous, and the brutal. There is one such animal among us today. Who is it? You!
Apparently a lot of blood and gore had to be cut out to get an R rating, including this whole dummy for Prine's death scene at the end, and all that stuff got cut, and that was back in the days when there was no DVDs, or like video wasn't even a thought at that point. So of course all that shit got trimmed and thrown out. And Gerald Cormier was the original film's director, and then I guess he fell behind schedule and Rudolph was called in. Apparently Prine also stepped in and directed a few scenes here and there.
He thought he would produce it and direct it, but he didn't. It was way too much to do. We didn't have a big crew, and so he was way overloaded with what we had to get done. And I'm a simple guy. I'd by then done 1,000 television shows and movies, so give me a master, give me an over the shoulder, give me that one, next.
Very much was that kind of patchwork kind of production of the low budget exploitation 70s kind of filmmaking world at that point, and I think the movie captures that kind of hysteria. And it is interesting that Prine would later be quoted as saying that Terror Circus was the one movie he actually regretted making.
That was mostly my fault. I thought this movie's a bridge too far for me. I should not have taken this movie.
Right.
Well, the fact is, it bought me my first house.
I think he's great in the movie. All of these I think he's great, but he really tried to add layers to this pretty one-dimensional psychotic character.
Now, Mother, I've got to go away for a little while, but you'll be safe here. I've got to go check on the animals.
Oh, no, why don't you let me check them for you?
Oh, no, Mother, they're too dangerous. They're vicious. They'll turn on you. Breeding is important. Some of them seem untrainable. It'll be my duty as ringmaster to teach them discipline.
And it pays off in certain sequences in the movie where he's really selling the shit out of it. He's terrifying when he's menacing the girls. The little introspective moments with his character, they really, really work. And then almost shot back to back with Terror Circus, we finally get the Centerfold Girls, which is easily the most demented of the three performances, which is saying a lot. Centerfold Girls in particular is one of the more interesting exploitation films that I can think of from that era, where you have these different stories that are intersecting with this psychotic character killing off these centerfold models and calling them, harassing them, stalking them, kind of leading up to the kill. But all the stories are very separate. You're not really following Prine's character too much. He's more of a peripheral, comes more in the final story. But I always thought it was an interesting way to approach a movie like that. Like, I didn't expect that to be the setup whatsoever until it started going. And then you're jumping all over the place from this group of people, this group of people, this group of people. And it's easily his most demented performance.
You scream and I'll slit your throat. Do you understand me?
What up, ma'am?
Now, just slide over here with me. Real close.
he's absolutely fucking psychotic, but it's brilliant and terrifying. But yeah, as I said, he of course went on to do other genre stuff. He would continue appearing in all kinds of different movies, even working with Rob Zombie later on Lords of Salem and stuff like that. And he's always a guy I've loved in anything whenever he popped up. And these three really stuck out as far as being some of his best work, even if he didn't really think about it at the time.
They treated me great and they paid me well. It wasn't my favorite script, of course, in the whole wide world, but they were good guys.
They truly do stand the test of time, especially if you're an Exploitation fan or fan of horror from that era. Overall, he was just an amazing guy, and it's really a sad thing that he's no longer with us. But if any of these movies sound interesting to you, definitely go check them out. You can find, they're all available on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever. Fairly cheap, they're not hard to find. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Hoping to get more on a production schedule, get more of these rolling. For those who missed my post on Instagram, I recently did a cameo for the Point Pleasant tapes. It's a found footage horror film where I'm interviewed as one of the characters within the doc surrounding the footage. Should be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm hoping that my footage works with what they need it for. But go check out 1289 Films on Instagram to keep up with the project over there. And until next time, guys, have a good one.